Hello, everybody. My name is Chang-Woo Ryu. I also go by JR. My colleagues call me JR. I'm the head of our division called Business Engineering and Information Science and Technology, also known as BEAST, member BEAST. Today, we have two distinguished faculty members from our program, one of our programs, but very unique. The program is called Rail Transportation Engineering. It's the only one in the whole nation, basically, when it comes to an undergraduate program, baccalaureate program, also ABET accredited. So we're very proud of our unique program. And we have some good news to share today, too. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing this session today. But before we jump into our conversation, I'm going to have our faculty members introduce themselves just very briefly. Brian?
Sure. My name is Brian Schlake. I'm an assistant teaching professor of rail transportation engineering at Penn State Altoona. I worked for Norfolk Southern Railroad. You can see the railroad here behind me.
I know. Look at that. Wow.
Around the horseshoe curve here locally in Altoona. But I worked for them for close to 4 years. And then in 2014, had an opportunity to come teach here at Penn State Altoona in rail transportation engineering. So I've been teaching here. This is now my 8th year.
Wow. Already, time flies.
I know.
You know how long I've been teaching here at Altoona? Do you know that?
25 years?
No. I'm not that old.
You're so wise that I figured it must have been a long time.
So this is actually the beginning of my 17th year. So I mean, yeah.
Wasn't that far off?
Not too far off. But yeah.
Okay. My name is Faiza Gofrani. I am also an assistant teaching professor of rail transportation engineering at Penn State Altoona. As part of my graduate studies, I have been doing research actually on the railroads, and here I am starting my 2nd year at Penn State Altoona.
Yeah, amazing. Oh, it's 2nd year. Wow.
I'm just starting the 2nd year, right?
Wow. Yeah. And then I think the 1st year was mostly spent in isolation, right?
Yeah. It was really unfortunate. I started in the middle of the pandemic, but it's getting back to normal. I'm seeing people.
Yeah, and we're fully in person now this semester.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sure you're very excited about that. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. By the way, I am professor of information sciences and technology, which is useful for, I'm sure, rail transportation engineering too. But
we talked about some of those places of merger where those two come together.
Yeah, machine learning and all these other analytics. I know Dr. Gofrani, she's into data analytics and machine learning and all those very exciting topics. So, I mean, definitely a lot of these opportunities for collaborations, which is wonderful. Yeah. So now let's jump into our main topic of the day, which is your recently funded project, right? And I know it's related to virtual reality, which is one of the topics I'm also very interested in, and really thrilled about this upcoming project. So I was going to ask you, Brian, to briefly describe what the project is all about.
Sure, and we even have a slide that we can show.
Sure, yeah.
I share my screen. Okay, I think we have it up. Can we see that now?
Yes.
I can see it, yeah.
Yeah, so this is actually the 2nd project that Dr. Gofrani and I have gotten awarded this year. The first one was with the Department of Energy.
Oh.
And that was a project that we proposed with ARL up in University Park. This project, which we're talking about today, that just recently we found got funded, is with the Department of Transportation, the Federal Railroad Administration.
I see.
So yeah, we're very excited about this. It's a high school outreach project, and Faiza, maybe you can give a little brief overview there, and then I'll talk about the goals and the partners.
Sure. So the topic of the project is expanding summer youth programs in rail through virtual learning and national campus network. It's actually a broad agency announcement, and it has been funded by Federal Railroad Administration, and winning proposal has been for $450K over 3 years. And the Penn State Altoona's share out of this winning proposal, it's going to be around $60,000.
Very exciting.
Yeah, so the goal of this project is really to reach high school students with kind of an interest, helping them gain an interest in railroad engineering. And so the way to do that, we'd like to develop this summer youth program. So basically summer camps in rail and intermodal transportation for high school students. And the Federal Railroad Administration is very interested in growing the workforce because there's a lot of people within the railroad industry who are retiring, and it's one that doesn't have a whole lot of visibility. We're finding that just trying to recruit students for our program. But once students find out that this is a viable career path, they get really excited about it. And so the goal is to expose students all around the country. And it's a pretty cool model. Michigan Tech is the lead organization. And we're also one of the core universities, along with the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. I've worked with Dr. Pasilatala and Dr. Tyler Dick from those universities. For the last few years, we've been working on some research related to high school outreach, or just K through 12 in general. And we've published some papers through conference papers through ARIMA. Actually, no, we also do have a couple of journal papers through the Transportation Research Record as well. But what's really cool about this project is we're going to start with the core, these three universities. And the first year, it'll just be the three of us running summer camp. That's a hybrid version. We're going to have a couple of days of virtual learning and then a couple of days in the summer of in-person summer camp. So we do that the first year. The second year, we're going to invite a few other universities to do the same, and we'll be able to share that virtual content, and they'll do their own in-person. And then the last year, a few more. So by the end of the 3 years, we'll have at least 10 different universities running these programs all in the summer all across the country.
Very nice. Yeah, one of the aspects of the project is including some of these cutting edge technologies like virtual reality.
Yes.
I'm sure one of the reasons why you got funded is maybe this kind of innovative use of the technologies to teach students. Maybe you could elaborate on that a little bit, how you're leveraging the technologies. Yeah.
Sure. And actually, I could even, now that you mentioned, I could pick up, and as Faisal mentioned, it was a broad agency announcement. Yeah. But we have a YouTube page that we could check out.
Okay.
We have a YouTube channel, and we've
you have a YouTube channel. Nice.
Yeah, so I'll show this, and because we have a number of, so people can follow this if they want. We have some student created content on here, but we have some other content that was created as part of various research projects. And what's cool is some of these are the 360-degree virtual reality videos. I'll just maybe pull up.
I want to see it. Yeah.
This is actually my favorite one is the one. So we took a trip to, this is my favorite one, to Europe a couple years ago.
I remember that. Yeah.
Austria and Germany and Switzerland. Here it goes. It's not letting me move it, but you get the idea here that you can grab and move this video around.
Right.
So it works okay. It's kind of laggy right now on Zoom.
Right.
But you can look around. But what's really nice, now we're in the cab of this locomotive. What's really cool is when you put on the virtual reality headset and you can see and experience it that way. And so the idea will be students can get, we may send them the cardboard version. or
yes.
when they're in person, they can also put on the headsets that we have in our lab. But yeah, they'll get to participate in those virtual
That
field
makes a lot of
trips
sense.
to
Yeah.
these locations.
So the key is, I guess, the field trips you can take virtually, and it's a little bit guided maybe too, because I guess there may be some presence virtually, kind of explaining what's happening to
Yeah.
the students. Yeah.
And I want to also add,
Mhm.
probably Brian would complete that, but I think as part of the responsibilities of Penn State Altoona faculties, we are planning on developing some virtual education modules and also
Nice.
like hosting students at Penn State Altoona over the summer. And we can also get help from our students, like as a student assistants, so that they would help us on preparing all the modules and the training for the high school students.
I see. I see. So this is a hybrid, pretty much, right? So some of it will be in person, other parts of the meeting will be online, virtually. Yeah.
Yes. And the other thing is some of it will be able to just happen over Zoom, where we'll have some hands-on activities that students can do at home. So we'll send them a kit, kind of like we did. We did this with our Women in Engineering Design competition.
Right.
We'll send them a kit, and they can do some of those hands-on activities like building tracks or models with related to the railroad at home, and then we'll have an instructor that kind of interacts with them as they're building that at home.
So this type of capability, especially when it comes to the technologies available to you, allows you to reach out to more people and have a bigger impact. Would you agree with that assessment?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, our ultimate goal is to increase exposure and interest in K through 12 students all across the country.
Right.
And so eventually, you know, these other schools that are teaching railroad engineering in some capacity will benefit, but also Penn State Altoona can benefit from getting more students in our program. But ultimately, the industry will benefit by getting more graduates who are interested in railroad engineering.
Nice. Yeah, that's very nice. So
And
this, okay.
Sorry, I interrupt you. And
Go ahead.
I think, Brian, the students that are coming for these camps, they are provided with housing, with accommodations, with a stipend, right?
Yes, that's correct. They'll so part of the funding is actually to be able to fund students to come and stay over. So it'd be an overnight camp, and they can stay and meals, and so all that was part of the funding request. So that these students can come. There may be a small nominal fee just to kind of make sure that they come after they sign up, but most, you know, of everything will be covered as far as that goes.
That's great. Yeah. And this is, I think, a good segue into our conversation about how the project really tries to promote something like diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I think Dr. Gophrani may be a good person to talk about that because she feels very passionate about this topic, I'm sure.
So we are trying to include as many diverse, I would say, range of people as we can. So we have like high schools in New York City, in Chicago, and also we are trying to track as more women as we can for the camp and also for our program at Penn State Altoona Railroad Transportation Engineering.
I see. Yeah. How are we doing with the female students, women students in our program, RTE program right now? Or in the past?
It's an area of growth. We've had a couple of graduates, women in engineering graduates. We are working hard to try to recruit women in engineering students into the program, but it's like, you know, many other engineering degrees, it's been difficult to attract women to the program, but that's definitely a goal of ours.
Oh yeah.
And we have some programs, the Women Engineering Design Competition
Yeah.
intended to do that.
When I think about it, we have, in terms of our ratio of female faculty members, we have a pretty high ratio of female faculty members. So setting some good examples there.
Yeah, among our full-time faculty, I mean, that's 40%. So we would love to have 40% of our students, women.
I know. I'd love to have more, of those, students. So, Dr. Gofrani, how do you feel about women in engineering in general? I know this is like something we haven't discussed when we were prepping for this interview, but this is supposed to be an impromptu kind of thing anyway.
As Brian mentioned, we have been trying to, we have had different programs in the previous years, I'm assuming, for attracting more and more female students to the program. For 2021, the same as 2019 and 2020, we are planning on having our women in engineering design competition for sophomore and female students all over the Penn State campuses. It's going to be in 3 stages, and you will receive the emails and hear the news about the first round, which is going to be in September.
So we do have a women's specific program through our rail transportation engineering program.
That's right.
Really trying to recruit more female students into our program. Definitely.
That's correct.
This has been privately funded through Norfolk Southern Railroad. They have their Norfolk Southern Foundation. They have donated to our program for that purpose.
And we're very thankful for their help. So, any parting thoughts before we wrap up our session today?
Yeah, well, one other thing, as well as women, we are working hard to recruit minority students, and we have some connections with. We're working on connections with schools in Chicago, but also New York City.
Yes,
JR and I, you remember we got to visit Transit Tech and
Transit Tech,
Brooklyn, New York, and they visited us as well several times with a big busload of students. So we're excited about that partnership. One of their graduates from that high school is now a senior, and he's about to graduate through our RTE program. So we're excited about that. That's Malik Qualls. But I guess the last thing, if you don't mind, I'll share screen again. And for those who might be watching online, this is a pretty cool resource. If you just Google K through 12 STEM outreach, University of Illinois, you should find this. And we'll be using some of these activities as well, both in our in-person and in our virtual. And they've come up with these, they've kind of, they got some funding to do this, put together this guidebook for railway themed K through 12 STEM outreach activities. So there's kind of some fun things in here, locomotive train simulator game. You could click on one of these and it'll show what the activity is, and then actually the learning objectives.
That's nice.
And how the students, so that you get different cars and then you fill them, in this case, with different types of material. So they learn about the capacity of cars and about the volumetric capacity. And these are for a little bit younger students, but so there's a pretty cool guide there.
Nice. Maybe at the end of your project, you can develop a guidebook like that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be part of, we'll be expanding on the guidebook there. And yeah, definitely. But we'd love to have anyone that's interested reach out to us. You can go to our website and do the ask information, or check out our Twitter or Facebook pages and contact us, or feel free to just email either myself or Dr. Gofrani. We'd be happy to discuss any of these things with you. And if you're interested in the summer camp, let us know. We'll definitely be starting to get the signups going for next summer. We'd love to have as many students as possible.
Oh, when is the registration site going to be available?
Probably not till early next year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So next year. Okay.
yeah,
Very good.
but a few months before the summer.
Wonderful. Dr. Gopurani, any thoughts before we finish?
I just really hope that we can see more and more female high school or college students would be getting involved in this sort of activities. And as Brian mentioned, if there is any interest in the program, the RT webpage, Twitter, Facebook are available, and also they can contact any of us.
Wonderful. Thank you again for joining me to talk about your latest project today. I'm sure we'll be back to have another very interesting conversation, but thank you again.
Thank
Talk to
you.
you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, JR.